my thought process, my entry criteria, how much I was risking in the trade. This is a loss that I took in platinum, so I held a little bit longer than I should. The entry was meh. I was tempted to do 40 contracts of platinum. Hi guys, I'm Tori Trades and welcome back to my trendline trading channel. This is where I go over tips and tricks to trendline trading and how I have turned trendlines into a consistently profitable strategy. So today I want to go over something that many traders don't talk about, and this is a loser, a big fat L. Now, I haven't had too many this year, so luckily for me, this is one of the few that we'll be going over this year. This is a loss that I took in platinum. So now let's get into it. Since it was closed just yesterday, we can go through kind of my thought process, my entry criteria, how much I was risking in the trade, and the nitty gritty. So let's get into it. First, we'll walk through the trade itself. So we're on TradingView. We've got my fun colors here. We've got upward lines, downward lines. We've got horizontal lines, these key levels, upward trend lines, downward trend lines. Let's talk about the entry and the exit here. First, I'm gonna go into my brokerage and log in. We're gonna go into TradeStation. All right, we are in. So this loss was 13,557. Now let's see where I got in and where I got out. Oof, I got out so late. I held this loser too long. Okay, so let's zoom in. We are looking at a 4-hour time frame. I am a swing trader. This is my swing trading account. My entries and exits are all done within the 4-hour time frame. So we've got an entry right here at the break of only a 2 touch point trend line. Not ideal, not A+. Regardless, an entry nonetheless. We had an entry of a break of a downward trend line. We also got a break of a horizontal level here, a key level of 989.6. But as soon as I got in, price continued to do absolutely nothing. Went nowhere all day. Let's see, we entered at, it wasn't 1 a.m. I think 1 a.m. was when it closed. I believe I entered maybe around midnight, maybe a little bit sooner, maybe 11 p.m., somewhere around that 4-hour time frame on Thursday, maybe technically Wednesday night. So when did it finally make a move? Not till Friday. Wednesday, Thursday, even Friday, price went absolutely nowhere. It was excruciating. We've got something that my uncle used to call a non-producer. Going nowhere. Now, there were times where I was in profit. We're in profit. We're doing great. We're up, maybe 6,000, 8,000. Then we came back down. Then the next bar we opened up. Okay, we're up 10,000. Then we came back down. We're break even. We're in the money. We're down. We're in the money. We're down. Finally, Friday morning, we're up almost $12,000. And then bar after bar after bar went against me. And then boom, price finally broke the line keeping me safe, the line that my stop trails along, the line that my risk trails along. So what got me out of this trade? We had the break of an upward trend line. The trend line had 1, 2, 3, 4, even 5 touch points and then finally broke. It showed me that we are no longer trending up. So I closed at 972.1, the very bottom of this candle here, the bottom of this wick. I held a little bit longer than I would normally for this trade. I was down about $8,000 and that's when I got my indication that I needed to close. But I held and I held and I held a little bit longer than I wanted to and closed with 13,500. So I haven't been able to journal my trade yet in TradeZella. So in the next video, I'll show you guys how I journal my trades. We can go over the R multiple, my initial risk. But today I just want to go over the trade itself. And then I want to talk a little bit about the psychology that I had and what kind of made me hold this trade a little bit longer than I should have. What made me take the entry even though it was only 2 touch points. So let's keep it going. So you guys saw why I got into my trade. We've got 2 touch points of a downward trend line. Boom, we had a break. I went long 20 contracts at 985.6. Price went absolutely nowhere for 2 days. Then finally on Friday, market came down against me. And then Sunday night, when the market reopened after the weekend, I finally closed. I took a loss of 13,500. Now, what got me into the trade? The initial entry itself is okay. It's not an A+ setup. We didn't have 3 touch points. Sure, maybe we had a week's worth of data here. Nope, we did not. So very mediocre setup, very mediocre entry. We only had 2 touch points and we did not have a week's worth of data within the downward trend line. But I also had, this is a big one that I want to talk to you guys about. It's a vulnerable thing to do. It's scary to make a commitment on social media because then you truly have to be held accountable. And then, at the end of the year, what happens? Did you do it? Did you not? So I had a goal of making $200,000 in trading profits this year. That is $100,000 more than I made last year and less than half of the amount of trades last year. Last year, I may have taken 75 trades. This year, I'm under 20. To be honest, I may be around a total of 13 maybe max. I know that you guys probably have seen videos where I'm talking about the 137,000 that I made 9 trades or 6 trades. Then we were down and then we were up. Well, where you guys are at in my trading journey now, we are looking at the very end of September. You guys might not be watching this video until a little bit after, but we are almost at $200,000. When I took this trade, I was only $15,000 away from that goal. That's a lot of pressure. I felt as though I could have made that in one singular trade. I was very, very, very tempted to go in very heavy in position size. I was tempted to do 40 contracts of platinum. I would have only had to be in this trade for a matter of hours, and then I would have hit that goal, and then guess what? I would have been done trading for the year. I want to be done. As simple as my strategy is and the least amount of trades that I've taken this year, it is still an incredibly stressful thing to do. I've got gray hair. It takes a toll on a human being to play with money, essentially, to play this video game of trading that involves real money, to see it float away from you, to see it in your favor, to see it in profit, then to watch it all go away. And even for someone that's been doing this for 9 years, it still takes a toll on me. And if I can reach $200,000 in a year, I will be done. And I will celebrate for the rest of the year, not have to take any more trades, and just continue to work on other endeavors, work on content creation, and pursuing a new business idea that I have. Finally, commit to real estate that I've been saying I'm gonna do all year. So it would have been such an incredible thing to finally hit that goal and be done for the year. Well, I am now set back. I now have to make almost 30,000-ish to reach that goal. Not quite, but close. So now let's go over the exit. Why did I hold so long? Same exact reason. I wanted to give this everything. I wanted to really be so truly convinced that there was no chance platinum was going to turn around and give me that 15,000. So I held a little bit longer than I should. Instead of taking an $8,000 loss, I took a $13,000 loss. And as we can see though, luckily I did close. Thank gosh, because this thing is not going up. It broke a very outstanding, long-lasting upward trend line. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touch points. It's starting back at the very beginning of September. This is a month-long trend line. It has finally broken it. Now, let's go over a opportunity that I could have had. I could have reversed this trade. I could have thought short, but the price is so far away, this just would have been a high-risk setup, too high risk for me to take. If this was a fake out and it was going to end up turning around and continuing up, that would have been too big of a loss for me to have to stomach, and it would have set me back even more. So I am now going to reevaluate, let the price make lower highs so that I can come in and track this with a steeper trend line and then mitigate some of that risk if I am thinking short positions. I need a little bit more of a pullback than just this one here to be able to minimize that risk if I'm thinking short positions. So if this really is just going to be retracing all the way back down to this 913, I need another pullback, a lower high to come in and cut that risk in half. So it's not a fun trade to talk about. I mean, what's cool is it's according to the strategy. I had an entry because of a break of a trend line. Not a great entry, not an A+, but still an entry nonetheless. And then I closed my trade because yet also a break of a trend line. It broke my quote unquote safety line. This is what I call these. So it's not a good feeling, mostly because I really I put a lot of pressure on this trade. And that's what a lot of traders normally do. Now mine is a trade that is getting me this much closer to my year-long goal. So that had a lot of pressure. But what a lot of traders do is put that pressure on every single trade that they place. This pressure of this trade has to be the one. This has to be the one that makes me rich. It's this one trade. And we've got to understand that it is never that. Now, this one trade could have gotten me to my goal, but that still put too much pressure and it didn't quite put me in the correct headspace that I needed to be in to properly execute this trade. The entry was meh, and I held a little bit longer than I should have. So this is my trade in a nutshell. It's a loss here, and it's something that I want to continue to show you guys. I want to show the transparency, the realistic side of trading, and what it's kind of like to talk about a goal on social media publicly. Say, I'm aiming for $200,000 this year, $100,000 more than I made last year in trading, and then I'm still not there yet. Now, we've still got a few more months left of the year, but it's a lot of pressure. I was closer before this trade. I was only $15K away. Now I've got to make, $24,000, $25,000, close to $30,000 really to give myself enough of a buffer. So I've got to make $30,000 by the end of the year to hit that goal still. So wish me luck, guys, and let me know your thoughts on this trade itself, on the strategy, and what you guys' goals are for the end of the year. Thanks for hanging out.